Hey boo, and welcome back to another episode of Financially Abundant. Getting your money together doesn't have to be hard or complicated. It should feel fun, exciting, and empowering. Every woman deserves to build her own portfolio and own her own financial power. So welcome to Financially Abundant, where we learn how to do just that. Let's get into it. Hey boo, and welcome back to another episode of the Financially Abundant Podcast. Y'all, I'm about to make y'all laugh. So, as I'm recording this, so if you're watching this on YouTube, I, record for YouTube, and then I record, for the audio version of the show. And I'm cracking up because I'm looking at my shirt. Y'all, I look like the people of Wakanda. I'm looking like the people of Wakanda. Stop playing. Black power. Okay? I'm cracking up. But anyway, hey y'all, and welcome back to another episode of the Financially Abundant Podcast. If you are returning, thank y'all so much for joining. And if you are new, hey boo! Thank y'all so much for being here and spending y'all Tuesday with me. I really appreciate it. So we have a few church announcements before we jump into today's episode. Church announcement number one. Yesterday, September 8th, today is September 9th, we started our holiday savings challenge. Like I said last week, it's September, that means Christmas is tomorrow. They're putting out the fall decorations now. When I went to Walmart this weekend to get the stuff that we needed for the house, I saw pumpkins. I saw welcome home fall. The fall candles are out. I said, oh my God. So that means we need to start saving. So I started a $2,000 savings challenge. So from December 8th. So from September 8th to December 1st, so that's 84 days, well technically 83 days when this show airs. The goal is to save $2,000. Now, how are we going to do that? Y'all know that we have realistic savings challenges over here. We are saving $20 at a time until we hit that goal of $2,000 saved by December 1st. So the goal is to save $20 at a time. So if you want to save $20 every day, or if you want to save $20 kind of sporadically, that's probably what I'm doing. Of course, I'm going to budget for the $20, but when I have, extra, I'm going to put that extra $20 towards that savings goal. Or if you got the whole $2,000, if you got it like that, and you want to put the whole $2,000 up, you can do it however you want. What's my saying? You can cut a chicken into many different pieces as long as you get the end result, which is some seasoned chicken, okay? So however you want to do it, that's what we're doing. So we're starting today with our savings challenge, a $2,000 saved by December 1st. So y'all know that I use Ally Bank for all of my short-term savings goals because you can create different buckets for the things that you want to save for. So open up an Ally savings account. It will literally take all of 5 minutes. Put your $20 in there and start saving until you hit your goal of $2,000 saved by December 1st. So I hope you are joining me on this challenge. Now, payday is this weekend. I created my budget template for y'all because y'all begged me to death to create a budget template. I created it. I've only sold 5. Y'all not budgeting? What are we doing? So for the month of September, I am giving away 5 budget templates because we can't keep talking about one. If now more than ever, if you're going to be serious about your coins, because that orange man in the office, you need to be serious about your coins and not be wasteful and be good stewards. So get you a budget template. It's only $8. It's a one-time fee. And you have it for the rest of your life. So before the month of September, because I'm all about the girls getting their money together, I am sponsoring 5 budget templates. So if you are interested in a budget template, comment on this video on YouTube. And the first 5 people that comment on this YouTube video and they like the video and they share it, you will receive a budget template. You will be receiving a DM from me. Also, make sure you leave your IG handle on there so that way I can message you and that I can provide the budget template for you. So you guys, get that budget template. Do not let another payday go by and you not budgeting and getting your money together, because how we gonna get our money together if we don't know where our money is going? Okay? Okay, so that's it. That's all for today's church announcements. Let's take a quick break and then jump into today's episode of Investment for the Girls 101. I'm not scared to say it anymore, sister girl. I want to be rich. Period. Financial freedom gives you choices, and that is exactly what this series is about. So over the next 6 weeks, we'll be diving into our beginner investment series for the girls. Disclaimer, I am not a financial advisor. I want to put that out on Front Street. I am not a financial advisor. Everything I share is from my experience and what I have learned and am learning along the way. So this is very beginner level advice. So it's easy, it's digestible, and most importantly, it's empowering. I'll also recommend a few creators that I love for extra learning so that you all can go and learn a thing or two from them and, just get information and just start thinking about things differently. So number one is Sierra Aaliyah. She's a day trader with beginner-friendly courses. Rose Hahn, who I've mentioned on the show before, she specializes in Roth IRA tips and beginner investing advice. And then Vivian Tu, also known as Your Rich BFF, she's an ex-Wall Street trader with investment tips and tricks. So of course, everything we're learning is from the girls because the girls got each other back. These creators make money feel fun, empowering, and accessible, which is exactly what this series is. So I'm super excited to start this investment series for the next 6 weeks. I'm not gonna lie to you all. I was kind of scared to talk about it, but I'm like, you know what? I know a thing or two. So let's get into it. And we just switching it up. Like I said, we doing what we do best, and that is showing up and being consistent. Remember my motto that I said in the beginning of this year: be greedy when others are scared and scared when others are greedy. But not doing nothing is no longer an option. So today we're just keeping it simple. We're breaking down what an investment actually is and why it's important in 3 easy sections. And then after that, I got a little homework assignment for y'all. So we're not gonna get too much into the details today of like what to invest in, all of this stuff. We're just very high level, beginner friendly, what an investment is, why it's important, and your homework assignment. I don't want to overwhelm y'all. We just gonna take it one step at a time. Okay. So number one, what is an investment? Think of it like this. An investment is when you put money into something today with an expectation that it will grow in the future. Think of it like this. When you walk into Sephora, you have 1,000,001 choices. Do you want Fenty, makeup, skincare, or hair care? Rihanna got it all. Do you want Danessa Myricks? Do you want Ami Cole? Do you want Rare Beauty? And before you go into Sephora, you did your research because each one of those brands and their products cost money. So you're not just buying a product, you're expecting a return. Like if I buy this $40 Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Tint, will it yield the results that it say that it will? Will it give me that flawless skin? Will it give me compliments? Will it give me the confidence? Well, I might even want to take a selfie or two, right? Is it worth the investment? Which I say it is because I have it on right now, and Danessa Myricks, baby, you put your foot in this skin tint. But that's not the point of the story. I say all that to say that is what makes it worth the spend. Like, is it worth the investment? That's all investing is that you put your money into something, stocks, real estate, retirement accounts, brokerage accounts, whatever, with an expectation that it's going to give you something back in the future. Now, sometimes that investment is a dub, and you need to understand that. There is failure in investments. There is failure in investments. You might not get a return. Sometimes the product just don't work. Sometimes the investment just falls through, but it's the risk you take, and you take risk every day. But doing nothing is not an option anymore. The difference is instead of flawless skin for the night, you're just setting yourself up for financial security long term. That is an investment. And there are different types of investments. For example, like I said, we're not going into details yet. We are just doing very high level, very beginner. There are different types of investments at a high level. You have stocks, you have bonds, you have ETFs, which are exchange traded funds. You have real estate, you have retirement accounts, you have brokerage accounts, etc. The key point is not every investment looks the same, but the goal is always growth. The thing to remember is that investment is not an overnight thing. It's not a lottery ticket. It's not a scratch-off ticket. It's planting a seed and waiting for it to grow, which it will grow. So once you understand that there are no quick fixes and there are no scams that we can do and no fast money, quick money in this investment, and that it is more of a long-term gain, you will start looking at your money differently, okay? That is what an investment is. So why should you invest? Why should you invest? Why shouldn't you invest, sister girl? Okay? Why should you invest? If you leave your money sitting in a regular checking account, it loses value over time. It does nothing. Let me give you an example. Circa 2019, what are you doing? 2019, I was in China. Oh my God, yes. Right before life started. A time was had. Anyway, 2019, circa 2019, you decide to save your first $100, right? And you do not touch it until today, which is 2025. That $100 just sitting in that regular checking account is still $100. It didn't grow. It probably ain't even $100 anymore. It's probably 20. You probably ain't even got that $100 because you kept dipping it too, and then you never put that money back. But I digress. Not I clocked y'all tea. No, I clocked my own tea. Anyway, back to the point. Now, you put that $100 in your regular checking account. Let's say you didn't touch it from 2019 to 2025. It's still $100. Nothing happened to it. But let's say you flipped it and instead you put that $100 into a high yield savings account, also known as the HYSA. Where at the time in 2019, the APY was 1.9%. Then it averaged 4.2% over the next 5 years. So by today, you now have $125.17, give or take, right? Now let's call a spade a spade. $125 isn't life-changing money, right? Like, you can't go out and buy a yacht with $125. Hell, you can't even go buy a house with $125. But that just shows you the difference between your money working for you versus your money just sitting there and working against you. Over time, those small gains add up to big wins. So at the end of the day, the long-term goal is to build wealth. That is how your money works for you, right? The goal is investments create future opportunities. Financial freedom gives you freedom, and most importantly, it gives you choices. Because I don't know about you, baby, I'm not working until I'm 70. Like, I'm always work. I'm always, make sure I got money, but I'm not clocking in on 9 to 5 until I'm 70 years. And oh no, baby, when I'm 70, me and Chauncey gonna be down at the south of France with our couple friends. Okay, we ain't gonna be here in the States. No, we're gonna be enjoying life. But also too, we're gonna make sure that we set ourselves up for that. And we don't mind making the sacrifices now. We understand the importance of making the sacrifices now, understanding the importance that it is a long-term game, right? And so when I think about all of the money I wasted on BS, like them Burberry shoes I couldn't even fit in my feet was balled up like some sardines for 2 years. I could have at least had a starter portfolio, right? So it's all about just thinking and viewing money and changing your mindset on how you view things, right? But like I said, last week we got a $300 net worth. So that is better than nothing, because this time last year, baby, I had a negative net worth. I had nothing to my name but Discover student loans and Chase credit card debt. So we have a net worth. That's all that matters. And that is what investing is. Number 3, how does one prepare to invest? You don't just dive into the deep end. No, baby, you got to practice swimming. We're not Michael Phelps over here. We got to practice swimming every day, and we got to learn and teach ourselves and work ourselves up to diving into the deep end. So number 1, how do you prepare to invest? Get your financial house together. That means budget. 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 Get your financial house together. And also have an emergency fund. Y'all know I've said this time and time again. I keep my emergency fund separate from all of my savings and my investment. The reason being because the emergency fund is strictly for emergencies, and I want my investments and my savings to work for me. And also too, when you're pulling money from like your savings account, let's say emergency came up and I kept my emergency fund in my high yield savings account. My high yield savings account is with Capital One. it's gonna take a few days for that money to come over, right? 9 times out of 10, the emergency is an emergency, like you need that money right now. So that's one of the reasons why I keep it separate. 2, I keep it separate because I need hard, tangible cash. Like at the moment, I want my savings to be my savings and my emergency to be my emergency fund. So right now, y'all know my emergency fund is $1,500. The end goal is to have at least like $10,000 just kind of tangible cash. Cash, if something were to happen, I can just, transfer the money over, bam. But yes, so I say all that to say, get your financial house together. That means budget and have an emergency fund, because investing is not a substitute for having a savings or an emergency fund. Remember, I keep them separate for those reasons. Number 2, start educating yourself. You do not have to be an expert, but you do need to know where you're putting your money into. Read a book, listen to the Financially Abundant podcast or other podcasts. Ask questions, be curious. YouTube is very much free, okay? Finally, start small, even if you are paying, especially if you are paying off debt like me and have other priorities going on, right? Some of us are taking care of sick children or aging parents. We all have other priorities. There's so many other things that's going on in our lives. And that's okay, but don't overwhelm yourself. You don't have to drop $7,000 right now, which is how much it costs to max out your Roth IRA, into the market. Start with $5. That's why I love a Roth IRA, because I can put how much I want in at a time over time until I reach the goal of maxing it out for the year. And even if I don't max it out for the year, the account is still there. I could just continue to put money in it until I am at a comfortable place where I can automate that, where I am maxing it out, or it just comes automatically out my account and I don't even think about it. But start somewhere. Start with $50, start with $5, start with $10. Hell, start with $1. And start with apps such as Robinhood, Fidelity, Vanguard. The key is starting. So again, let's bring those 3 points home. What is an investment? An investment is something you put your money into today with the expectation that it will grow and pay you back in the future. Why should you invest? Because you want your money to work for you and not against you. Inflation will increase your return. And number 3, how do you prepare to invest? Get your financial house together, start educating yourself, and start small. Okay, so let's take another quick break and then we'll jump into our new section of the podcast of what would. So the other day on Instagram, I had asked you all, and I need y'all to start engaging with me a little bit more over there on social media. I'm trying, and I need y'all to try back. Okay. Anyway, so the other day on Instagram, I had asked you all, what companies would you invest in? And I got a couple responses, and I also asked you guys to email me your investment questions, and I got one question. So yes, we getting somewhere, yes. So I got responses like Nvidia, which if you guys don't know what Nvidia is a technology company. I got Tesla, which I agree. I wish I would have invested in Tesla earlier. Tesla is really that girl until Elon Musk opened his mouth. But honestly, I think Tesla is going to have a comeback because the world is going to move more into EV vehicles in the future. I genuinely believe when our kids are my age, I'm not pregnant, y'all, but I'm saying like if I decide to have children, or my nieces, and my little sister Piper. Also, happy birthday, Piper. This week is Piper's birthday, so make sure y'all say happy birthday to Piper. And if you want to give Piper a gift, she has a 529 account, which we opened, which is a college savings account. And we are starting to save for her college. The whole family is, both her and Coco. So if you want to give Piper a gift, which you are not obligated to, you can definitely just ask one of us for the link and we will send it to you all. And that way Piper will not have to take out loans to go to college. She will be the first. So that is really exciting. That actually makes me very emotional. But anyway, I believe that when Piper and Chanel get older, when they're my age, everyone's gonna have an EV vehicle. That will be the new thing. Tesla will be that girl. So if you are interested in investing in Tesla, because the stock is very low, I would invest in Tesla, because once all of this stuff blows over and Trump is out of there, thank God, Tesla stock will go up. Another one of my friends said the IRS, which I was cracking up laughing because, girl, I want to rob the IRS. I can't believe I said that out loud. But we cannot invest in the IRS. It's not a publicly traded company. They don't have an IPO on the New York Stock Exchange. But I would say one of the stocks that I personally would love to invest into is Starbucks. But when I build my portfolio up and I'm able to purchase the S&P 500, which I always recommend people look into and purchase, because you're investing in the top 500 companies of the world, and you're gonna always have a return on that, and it's always a safe investment that I recommend. Starbucks is a part of that. So, and I think Tesla is a part of that too. So I thought it was fun. Just curious to know like what people are investing in, what people are learning, what people are listening to. I just always think it's fun to just learn new information. So I'm really curious. Let me know what stocks that you would invest in, and also too, what's stopping you. So I received a question from one of the girls, an investment question. And if you have any questions and you want me to answer them live on the show, email me at the financiallyabundantpodcast@gmail.com, where I will read your questions out loud and give you true, honest advice from myself. I believe I give great advice. Now, taking my own advice, God is still working on us, but we're getting there. We're getting there. So I received one of the questions from one of you lovely ladies. So this is what it said. Hey Denai, I'm 29, and last year I had made a decision that I wanted to get my money serious. One of my big goals was to buy a house by the time I turned 30, and I turned 30 next May. I've been disciplined and consistent and saved up $30,000, and after months of touring homes, I feel like I finally found the house of my dreams. But here's where I'm stuck. Should I use that $30,000 as a down payment and finally become a homeowner, or should I throw it and pay off my student loans? That $30,000 will completely wipe out my loan balance, and I will officially be debt-free for the first time. Part of me is like, girl, buy the house and stop paying rent, but the other part of me feels like I'll finally be done with Sally Mae. What would you do? Thanks. That is such a good question, and it's actually a really loaded question, because it's not one right answer. One, congratulations on saving $30,000 and almost being completely debt-free. But because you are a first-time home buyer, depending on what state you're located in, there are a lot of states that offer a lot of first-time home buyer programs and grants and different things like that, where you wouldn't even have to pay a down payment or closing costs. So I would ask your realtor to see what programs that you qualify for that can help offset some of those costs, because a lot of states offer first-time home buyer programs and grants and loans and different things like that for people like you. And if they offer you any first-time home buyer programs, I would personally move forward with the house. However, I would save $15,000 of that $30,000 that you save. I would put $15,000 towards Sally Mae, and I would put the rest towards a house account. Now, this does not include furniture or anything like that. I'm talking about a strict house account, because if something was to happen, let's say your water heater broke, or your dishwasher starts leaking, or your washing machine is not working, or you have a plumbing issue, a leak, whatever, you're gonna have to outsource that now, because you're not renting. You can't put in no maintenance request. No, baby, you gotta find a plumber, and just for him to come out alone might be a couple $100. Then whatever the leak is, if it's leaking and it's on the floor and now you got water in your floorboards and different things like that, you're going to have to pay for that. You got to pay for that out of pocket. And you're going to have to pay for that immediately, because if you don't fix the leak, baby, your house going to be filled with mold. I would have a house account strictly for that, because you don't want to have to, you work so hard to get out of debt. You don't want your house to make you house poor, where you have to accumulate debt again. So that's what I would do. Pay half towards your student loans, use the other half to kickstart your house account fund, and I would go about it that way. So that is my honest opinion. That's actually what I would do in this situation if I were you. But regardless, at the end of the day, sister, I'm giving you your 10s. The fact that you saved up $30,000 and you were consistent with that, you're almost done paying off your student loans, and you're about to turn 30 and to buy a house, girl, you a baddie. And that's a real baddie, and you deserve your baddie's chain. So those are all the questions for today. If you all have any questions, make sure you send them to the financiallyabundantpodcast@gmail.com, where we answer your questions out loud on the show, and I give you my advice on what would Denai do. Let's take a quick break, and then let's wrap up the show. Okay, sister, food for thought before we leave for the day. As a believer, I've often struggled with the desire to build wealth while also wanting to faithfully serve God. And for a very long time, I wrestled with that fear that pursuing financial success meant that I was serving something other than the Lord. A couple years ago, I came across this book called Becoming a Millionaire God's Way, and I've mentioned it on the show before. And I've read it a couple times since then. I try to read it once a year. But anyway, it shifted my perspective. Because for so long, I feel like many of us, many people who were raised in the church, or many people who are pursuing and serving that relationship with God, were taught that wealth and faith could not coexist, that they were not synonymous, that wanting to be rich was wrong or impossible if you truly served and believed in God. And that mindset created a spirit of poverty for all of us, and it has just been with us for our entire lives. But the truth is that wealth itself isn't the problem, it's idolizing it. And I'll be honest with you, y'all know we keep it open, honest, and transparent. I struggle with idolization. That is something that I struggle with to this day. I struggle with daily, and I know that God continues to work on me daily because I idolize wealth and having money. But this book reminded me prosperity isn't against God's will. In fact, it can be a part of it when handled with the right heart posture. It's about stewardship, discipline, and using what He blesses us with to serve His purpose and to serve His people. Prosperity and faith aren't at odds. When aligned with God, wealth can be a tool to impact lives, build generational change, and honor Him in the process. So I say all that to say, if you are struggling with wanting to pursue financial success and also serve the Lord, please read Becoming a Millionaire God's Way, because it has helped me. But also I have to learn too that prayer without works is dead. The importance of stewardship, the importance of discipline, and the importance of using what He blesses me to serve His purpose. And I feel like when your heart posture is right, you can achieve financial success and serve the Lord. But when your heart posture is wrong and you're idolizing wealth and you're being one of the assholes running the country right now, where you are literally taking away people benefits, SNAP benefits, and they can't even feed their kids, and you're taking away the money for cancer research, and you're aligning your pockets with that money, that's where achieving financial success is wrong. So you can do both, sister. I know that is something we struggle with. Y'all know everything we have is because of God. I am nothing without Him. But I know I'm not the only one that has struggled with that or has thought about that. But you can do both. Check your heart posture. It is a thin line. It is a thin line of idolizing wealth and serving God at the same time. But if you check your heart posture and you seek Him daily and remain humble and grateful for all He's done and how far you've came, you can do both, sister. So with that being said, as we begin to wrap up today's episode, today was a good episode and a great episode to kickstart our investment series for the girls. Our investment series for the girls. Dang, I can't even talk. So I told y'all there was homework. So this is your homework assignment for the week. Pick one type of investment that catches your eye, not what social media is telling you to invest in. Do your own research. Whether there's a specific stock, a specific ETF, real estate that you're interested in, whatever it is, write it down. Google it, but most importantly, count the cost. What's the price? What's the risk? And what is the possible reward? Write down what excites you about that investment. Is it freedom? Is it stability? Is it wanting to retire early? Keep that front and center because that's your motivation. Next week, we'll be breaking down the different types of investments, so you don't want to miss that episode. I love you all. This was an amazing episode, a great kickstart to our investment series for the girls. I'm so excited for what these next 4 months are going to hold for us. Remember, boo, I don't care what you do, but doing nothing is not an option anymore. Remember, it's not the destination that inspires others, it's the journey. So inspire yourself to do the impossible. All right, sister girl, I love you. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Financially Abundant Podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure that you share it with one other girlie who is interested in investment and investing and they don't know where to start, who wants to get her finances together and don't know where to start, who need a budget template and don't know where to go. You can have it all here. I am your one-stop shop for everything. Make sure you like and leave a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and most importantly, YouTube, and that you thumbs up today's video. When I tell you it goes a long way, it goes a long way, because at the end of the day, every girl deserves her own portfolio. I love you, sister, and I'll see you next week, same time and place. Bye.